Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll show you how to make a bootcut palazzo pant. And the first thing you want to do is to go ahead and fold your fabric with your hip measurement plus 3 inches extra. Okay, and after doing that, just mark a guideline on the top of your fabric like this is going to be where all your measurements will start from. So from that waistline, I marked my hip line, which is 10 inches, because this pant is going to be um, a high waist pant. Then I'm marking the crotch line, which is 2 inches from the hip line. And on the part where the flay is going to start from, I'm marking 20 inches from that part. Okay, so you can go ahead and take your measurement from your waist to your knee line and then go up by 3 inches. That's how you get that point I marked right here. Okay, that's how you get this line here. Okay, so after marking that, I have all my measurement. I'm going to, you see, I have 8 inches in between the crotch line and the point where the flare is starting from. So on the hip line, I'm marking 8.5 inches, which is my hip measurement divided by 4. I mark that on the crotch line as well, and I'm going to mark it on the waist line. After that is done, I will just take my straight ruler and connect the point from the crotch line down to the waistline. And I'm just making sure that this line shows very well so you see what I'm doing exactly. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to mark my waistline divided by 4, which is 6.75 on the waistline, and I'm adding 1 inch for the zipper, I mean for that allowance. And you see the way I placed my two, I'm just going to connect that to the hip line with a curve, a slight curve like this. So you see I have this connected to the hip line. On the crotch line, I'm going to mark 2 inches outwards like this, and from that point where the hip line and the crotch line meets, I'm coming up by 1.5 inch, and I'm going to connect that to the hip line. But if you have your curve ruler, you can just use it to curve it to the hip line, but I'm going to just use my straight line for I'm going to use my hand for the sake of people that don't have the curved rule. Okay, so this is what we have. On that point, I'm marking the circumference around that tie divided by 2. Okay, on the point where the flay is starting from, I marked my circumference around that point divided by 2, not divided by 4 like we did for the hip line. Okay, so now I'm going to mark the full length of the pant. I want this pant to be 45 inches once I'm done sewing, so I will just mark 45, and then I added 2 inches for hemming allowance. Okay, so you can mark your exact length for your pants. Okay, so after marking that, I'm going to mark the point where the pants will stop into a straight line with my ruler, just like you see me doing here. And I'm going to mark the circumference that I have on the hem opening. Okay, the hem of the pant, I marked 12 inches for the opening of the pant. So you can decide to mark whichever measurement that is comfortable for you. And after marking that, I will just connect down to that point where the flay is starting from. Then I added 1 inch for extra on that point. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm doing. And after that, I will just connect down to the hem of the pant. So I added 1 inch seam allowance on the circumference of my that tight part where the flay is going to start from, because you know that part is going to be tight, and when I took the measurement it was tight, so I needed to add a seam allowance to that point. Okay, and I connected that to the opening of the sleeve of the pant, and I'm just going to connect to from the crotch line down to that point where my flay is going to start from. Okay, Notice how I placed my ruler as well. I did not place it straight. I placed that curved part on the crotch line. So you see what we have, a slant line and not a sharp straight line. So after all of that is done, I'm just going to cut out my pant. Okay, so if you don't want to follow exactly what I did on the point where the flay starts from, you're just going to mark from your waistline to your new line like I said before, and then you're going to go up by 3 inches, and that point is where you will mark where your flay will start from. That's another way to do it as well. Okay, so I have my front panel set. So I have the 2 pieces for my front panel, and we are going to be using this front panel to cut out the back. Okay, so what I want to do is to place it on it just the way I have done here, and you're going to also place your own on a fresh fabric, okay, that you folded into 2 as well. And on the crotch line, you're going to extend that by 1 inch, okay, and you're going to curve into the crotch line of the front, and you're going to just sort of mark the 1 inch down to the place where the flay is going to start from, and then you just cut it straight from there. I'm going to cut this out to show you how what I mean. Okay, so you just cut from the waistline down to the crotch, and at this point you just add that 1 inch seam allowance around that region, and just cut out the pieces so you can have the 2 pieces for the back as well. So I'm just going to remove the front. So this is the back that I have, the 2 back panels. Okay, now we're going to cut out the waistband. All right, my waist measurement is 27 inches, so I folded this into 2. Okay, so I'm supposed to have 14 inches exactly, but I'm going to, my waist measurement is 28, so folded in 2 I'm supposed to have 14 inches exactly, but I'm going to add 2 inches to that. And for the length of the waistband, I want it to be 2 inches when I'm done as well, so I'll mark about 4.5 inches, so that when I use half an inch to hem it, I'll stitch it to the waistband. I will still have my 2 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this out and I'm going to show you what I mean. So this is my waist measurement plus 2 inches, and folded in 2 I have about 2.5, and then I'm going to use half an inch to connect this to the waistband. Now I have the 4 pieces of my trouser, and I'm going to show you how you mark out your dart. Remember, we added 1 inch for that for this trouser. So I have marked out the dart. First, I notched the center of the pant, and I make about 5 to 6 inches downwards, and I'm going to connect that straight down from the center of the pant with my straight ruler like this. After doing that, and I'll mark half an inch on the left side and half an inch on the right side. Then I'm going to curve that slightly to meet the end of the center line I marked for the dart. Okay, so that's how I marked out all of the pieces for my dart, and you see this makes it very easy. Once you take it to the sewing machine, you just stitch down following the lines you've marked for the dart. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to my patterns now, and after doing that, I'm going to do it to all the 4 panels. After doing it, I'll put the front and the back panels together, and then I'm going to stitch from the waistline down to the crotch line. That's after stitching in my dart, right? And I'm going to do that to the back panel as well. Put the crotch together from the waistline, making sure that I place it right sides facing. Okay, just like this, the right sides should face each other, and I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, stitch from the waistline down to the crotch. Once that is done, I'll show you what I have. So guys, this is my back panel. The dart has been stitched, as you can see, very neat and nice, and the crotch has also been stitched together. You can see that our pant is gradually coming together. Okay, right, so for the front panel, this is what I have as well. The dart has been stitched and you see how neat it looks. So I'm going to place the front and the back panels together, and I'm going to make sure all the parts are aligning, and from the crotch line I'm going to stitch down to the hemline of this pant. Okay, so if you are a total beginner, you can go ahead and use a pin to pin your patterns together from the crotch line down to the hem of the trouser on the two sides, so when you take it to the sewing machine it's easy for you to work on. Okay, after you stitch from the hem, you're going to close the sides, and I'm going to do that as well, but then I'm going to leave about 7 inches from the waistline down, just so I can attach my zip. So this is what I'm talking about. That's this part for the zipper, and I have stitched my pants on the sides and to the hem of the trouser. Okay, so you can see how beautiful our trouser piece is looking already. So now I grab my waistband, and like I said, I fold it in two, and I'm going to place it on the waistline just like this. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pin it, just so you understand perfectly what I am doing here. So I'm pinning it all around the waistline, and like I said, you have to leave extra so that you don't fall short of fabric. So that's the extra I have. I just cut it out because I do not need it anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch on the waistline like this. Once I'm done, I'm going to have something like this, and you should have that as well for yours. After that, I'll go ahead and hem the lower part of this pant. Like I said, I want this pant to be 45 inches once I'm done sewing. Okay, so after that, I'm just going to attach a matching zipper to the side of this pant. Okay, and once that is done, I will also come and show you. Right, so this is where the zipper is going to be going into for my pant. Right, all right guys, so after doing all of that, you can see how beautiful and neat the boot cut pant is looking. I genuinely love this pant so much, and we are done stitching. I'm just going to show you how the stitches look very clean. You can see from the side, you can see the zipper sitting pretty, and you can see the dart as well, looking very well placed, and the waistband, you can see how it looks as well. So what you're going to do is that you also go ahead and iron your pants very well, adding water and hot iron to make your stitch flat just like mine. So you can see how beautiful the waistband is, and the dart, and down to the hem, you can see how the lower part is flayed and upper part is tight. You can see how it looks so good on me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Until next time, bye.